Okay, it's time for the truck tailgate talk. What I wanted to do is kind of go over what are some of the videos that are coming up, including this one. This one's going to be kind of like the very early stages of building the camper, kind of going over everything that started the whole process. Following that is going to be the 2x4 model, and then the 80-20 prototype. Those will be together because they're pretty short. And then we're going to actually start doing the build. And I'm going to start with the base rail here of the camper, and we're going to go ahead and install it. Obviously, I've already installed it, but I've already shot the video of when I put this on. So we'll go over that, everything about it, how I mount it, and how I install the posts and everything. Then I'm going to do another walk around of the whole camper. As you can see, I've got the camper on the bed of the truck now. The first walk around was on the ground. When it was still in the garage, where it was still early in the process. A lot of changes have been made, and so I want to kind of show you the progress of where it's at and also kind of where it's going. So anyways, we'll just go ahead and jump into the kind of the beginning of the whole process of building the camper. So here's where the camper began. This is where I decided to build the camper, sitting where I'm sitting right now. I know it's kind of weird, kind of strange, but let me explain what's going on here. So when I first thought about building the camper, I was like wondering if there's going to be enough room in the bed of the truck to do everything that I wanted to do. So what I did was I measured out the bed of the truck, and then I came down here, and then I took some blue tape and I marked the boundaries of where the bed of the truck is, and also marked the boundaries of where the wheel wells are. And then I took a couple of coolers for chairs, which will probably be the chairs for the beginning, and then took a bunch of cardboard boxes here to mark where the counter is going to go, and then I put some smaller boxes here, just flat boxes on the top to show the countertop, so I can kind of get an idea of the height of the countertop. And then in the corner over there is a box that's where the propane is going to go. And on my lap here is just a piece of wood that's for the table. And so I sat here and I was trying to come up with some ideas and designing and trying to figure out where everything's going to go. So I can just give you just a quick tour here of what's going on. So the table here, kind of a critical piece of the camper. So one of the things I wanted to do is be able to have two people work on laptops at the same time. So trying to come up with the width and the height, or the width and length of the table and the height for two laptops. For something like this, you could have a laptop here in one corner, a laptop here in the other corner, so they don't collide with each other. But also, I was thinking you could just have the table turn, and then that way you can have two laptops back to back without any problems. So I think that's going to be a piece of the build here, is where you can have a table that rotates. And then I was trying to figure out how to mount the table. I initially thought about mounting it here on the counter, because I thought it'd be nice to be able to have this counter be able to come in and out of the camper all ready to go. And so that way when you go camping, you just put the counter in and it's got all the components on it ready to go. So the problem with that is if I had the table mounted on the counter and it swung up, then the problem is it'd be over on this side. And so in order for the person sitting where I'm sitting now to get out, you have to take everything off the table and drop the table so they can move out. So I think it's going to have to be mounted on this side, which will leave enough room to walk past the table without disturbing anything on the table. The table has multiple functions as well, so it has to be, there's a lot of thought that's going to have to go to the size of this. And that's, one is to have it drop down, so that way you can form a little bench. So you have this chair that will probably extend up all the way up there, and then you can extend this over here as well. And that way, if it's raining outside or for whatever reason you need to bring a couple more people in the camper, you can have plenty of room to sit and have more seating areas. And then also this could work as a bed as well. so you can extend it all the way out over the tops of the chairs or coolers, depending on what the final solution is going to be. So another thing I was thinking about too, as I said this before in a couple other videos, that I was thinking about notching out the counter here. So it just depends on how much counter space I'm going to need for the gray water and the fresh water. But I was thinking that, you know, one person could be sitting here working on the table, and another person can be able to sit here and extend their legs out and just kind of stare out the window or do work or whatever they need to do. And I thought that'd be, I thought this would be a really nice place to sit and just kind of be able to look outside. And you can also sit the other way too. You'd be kind of in a little cubby hole area, and then you can have like a blanket or something, or extra pillows and stuff like that, kind of make it really cozy, and then look out this window. So those are some of the things I was thinking about. And you know, like in previous videos, what I was thinking that I talked about is, you know, stove and the sink are going to go here. Fresh water and gray water tanks and the pump is probably going to go here. The power, the solar and the battery is probably going to go over here somewhere. Toilet is over here. Like I said, the propane tank is there. And then over here, you know, I like to try to keep that space open for storage, or, you know, be able to put up a curtain to take a shower, little shower pan. Or, you know, I was also thinking that maybe the toilet would go there and you could move the toilet out or something like that. But I mean, there's so many different options right now, and I really have to kind of start building things to kind of figure things out. But that's kind of where I'm currently at, and this is kind of how I got there. And I think that if you're going to build a camper, I think this is the thing to do, especially if you have like a small bed truck. Large bed truck, you got a lot more room to work with, and so a lot more tolerances. But when the trucks start getting smaller, you really have to really kind of think about where everything's going to go. And I think this is probably the best way to kind of visualize that, because you can't you can't really just design it in CAD and think that's going to work. You really have to kind of walk around it to see how much room you got to have, how much room you're going to have. So the blue tape here marks the boundary of the bed of the truck. And then also I've got the blue tape here for the wheel wells, where the wheel wells are. So it is important to build a little cardboard box here to place where the wheel well is, because it's easy to forget that this space is not usable. So when I have the chair there, your feet are going to hit this wheel well. So you got to make sure that you know where it's going to be at, because you need to account for that space. Because when I first did this, I thought, oh, there's plenty of room, and then I had put a box there. I was like, I got to make sure that there's enough distance away from the wheel well so your feet can sit here. Because if you can't sit here because of the wheel well, your leg will be up on the wheel well. And then on the other side over here is the other boundary and the counter. And so it was okay for me to move this past where the bed of the truck is, just so I can get an idea of how much space I need in this hallway here. So as you're moving these boxes back and forth, you need to keep track of where the edge of the bed of the truck is, so you know the depth of your countertop. Also, depending on how high you make this, you can make this a standing desk area. But if you're going to do a standing desk, I would recommend probably doing it over on the overcab area, because that would probably be a better spot for it. But if you make it low enough, then you could use this as your table as opposed to having the table over on this side. Or you can do both. That might be a good option too. It's like if you have a bunch of people in the bed of the truck, then you can set up the bench, and then everybody can sit at the counter here. And then if there's just a couple of you, then you can just use the other table here that I'm sitting on. Also, if I do the notch out in this part right here, I'll definitely do like some type of flip down or a slide out to increase the counter space when you need more counter space. So for orientation, I'm sitting on the passenger side of the truck, right next to the cab. So the cab will be right here on my back. So I'm all the way backed up to where the cab's going to be. And this is the driver's side, and where the camera's at is the back of the truck where the door of the camper's going to be. So one of the things I thought about doing that I didn't do was to build a roof of the camper with some cardboard. And that way I can get some measurements on some heights, but also kind of see what it's like to sit in the camper with the top down or in the half up configuration or the full pop-up configuration. I decided to do all that at a later date because I was still trying to figure out how I was going to do the pop-up, you know, kind of do a left, right, or front and back, or kind of have something maybe that kind of opens up. So I had a lot of options that I still needed to figure out. The main thing that I wanted to do was kind of get the layout of the camper to see if this was actually going to work. So to make sure that I have enough room to actually move around with the little hallway and be able to get a table and a couple people sitting down here in the countertop. So that was the goal of this part right here. So this is where the camper build really started. This was the first thing I did. This is before the 2x4 model, before the CAD, before any prototyping. This is what I did. I sat here in the corner with some cardboard boxes and figured out that that this thing actually might work. So that'll do it for this video. Like always, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Share, like, comment, subscribe. One of those orders. It doesn't really matter, does it? Anyways, yeah, that's it for this one. I'll see you on the next one.